Hey guys, how you doing? Uncle Steph here. So why shouldn't developers fear AI? We see a lot of fear now. Why is this fear irrational in the medium and long term? Well, first of all, AI-based development, though productive and useful, yada, 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 I've talked about this before. It's not perfect. It's not trivial. You're not going to have some random business person, some HR department person being able to develop really good functional apps with AI unless they put a lot of effort into it. AI will make you more productive, just like React made front-end web app development much, much easier, right? Vanilla JS, it's capable, but if you want to do what React does, it makes you, 10 times more capable. AI is the same thing. It speeds up the process, it makes it easier, but it still requires a lot of work, and there's a lot of planning, and there's a lot of complexity with AI development. Don't fool yourself. This irrational fear, in my opinion, about AI killing all jobs, a lot of it's hype. A lot of it's because our lizard brains, our lower brains, link below, I have a whole course on it. It's designed to overemphasize, to artificially magnify potential threats. AI is perceived as a potential threat because it does a lot of stuff, but it makes a lot of mistakes. If you look at some of my previous videos, you see people are now being hired to clean up what is called AI slop code. It's like messy code. So we've seen RAD prototyping tools before, rapid application development. RAD is short for rapid application development. We have seen over the years, over the last couple of decades, in fact, several iterations of that, several versions of tool sets that allow you to quickly build applications, or more quickly build applications. Most of them fall short. That's why you don't hear about them much these days. Some of them are there. Typically, when you have RAD tools, and I consider AI a high-level RAD tool, they're good at very narrow scopes. If you go outside of that, you're going to have some problems. And that's what we're seeing with AI. So AI, don't get me wrong, it's much better than previous iterations, previous versions of these type of tools, but it's still that. And the fundamental problem with AI is that it doesn't think. You see, AI doesn't think. It doesn't have that capacity to go, this here doesn't make any sense. It would just go off on these tangents. AI makes assumptions. It doesn't have that ability to reason. I know they have AIs where they call reasoning AI, and it looks like it might be reasoning to a certain extent, but its reasoning level is, At the end of the day, based on my experience working with the latest GPT, I trained an AI fitness coach to automate some of the time-consuming processes in when you're getting healthy. Anyway, so I trained this thing for about 3.5, 4 months now, and it's like training a small puppy dog. It really is. You have to give it a context. You have to give it a solid context. But even though you give it a context, it will still start dropping turds all over the place. It's like, why did you do that? It's like, I told you not to. So you have to deal with what are called edge cases. Basically, you give your AI, you give it a context, and it does a bunch of stuff automatically, and you're going, oh my God, I didn't have to explicitly code this, right? I just prompted it in. But then it will just like, it will go, be working pretty good, and then all of a sudden it will go off on this tangent, and you're like, what the hell is that? It's like having a self-driving car. It's to the point where it's taking it, like, they've been at it for what? Tesla's been at it for many years, where it's just now getting to the point where it could drive itself. Driving is not nearly as complex as, building apps and figuring out business processes. One of the things I like to say, if you're halfway there, you're nowhere, right? So an AI could take you quickly towards your goal in terms of developing an application, some sort of workflow, no question. But you still need to intervene as a human. You still need to intervene and deal with stuff. So for example, going back to my custom AI. I call it Brad Fit, the AI fitness coach. Very powerful, very useful. After 3.5, 4 months of training, and I still have to deal with these random edge cases, these where it just goes off in these little tangents and just ruins it. It's still very useful. So the key to working with AI, from my experience anyway, and speaking to AI experts, is you have to keep the scope of what your chatbot would do, what your agent would do. You have to keep it very narrow. The more narrow and specialized the agent, more narrow and specialized the chatbot, your AI, the better off it's going to be. The less likely it's going to do some crazy, stupid stuff that's going to ruin everything. If you look at OpenAI, so they came out with GPT-4, and I trained my agent, not my agent, I trained my fitness coach AI based on GPT-4 because Grok didn't have capability that GPT had, Gemini didn't have capability that GPT had, and it's very good. On 4, I got it working after 3.5 months or so. So then 5 comes out, ChatGPT 5. Now, the companies that own these AI, they're trying to tell us, oh my God, AGI is around the corner, oh my God. Meanwhile, so they come out with 5, and it breaks Brad Fit. It breaks months of work. Not horribly, but it breaks it pretty good. And I'm like, damn. So what does that tell you? That tells you that it's not a perfect process. Several years ago, when I was looking at AI a little bit, so I picked up a book on it. The chapter I was concerned about was a chapter on training models. And the author of the book was apparently a top AI guy. He was saying, and I've gotten confirmation from other people, he's saying that AI training, model training, is more of an art than it is a science. That's a big red flag. When people start telling you something is an art, more art than science, that tells you the process is at best imperfect. So when you saw they went from GPT-4 to 5 and they busted poor Brad Fit, my AI fitness coach, the world's greatest living fitness coach, that's an AI, that tells you they got problems. Now, not just me. I have a friend of mine, some of his AI, which was based on GPT-4, they got busted the hell out of it in GPT-5, and they had to roll back. And it's not just me. Anyway, so there you go. It's complex. We have different levels of complexity, or different types of complexity, shall I say, with AI than you have with software development. And it's just another tool in your tool set as a developer, just like React is, just like native JavaScript is. Just like WordPress is, if you're a developer, client wants a vlog or a blogging site, if you will. It makes sense to use WordPress or some other content management system, et cetera, and so on. So yeah, don't fear the AI. It is not a threat to developers in any way. And in fact, it's a huge opportunity, in my opinion. So if I were you, learn your foundations of code, which I would recommend the web stack that will give you the most opportunity, but it doesn't really matter if you do C# or C++ or Java, or you do JavaScript, Python, PHP, my recommendation, HTML, CSS. You learn that, learn to work with AI, become an AI expert. You got to look at, some experienced developers will say, okay, I got these tools. One tool is called JavaScript. Another tool is called Python. Another tool is called SQL. Another tool is called, C#, whatever. Right? These are all tools. React is a tool. WordPress is a tool. I would argue Wix, that builder website, is a tool. So are AIs. Gemini is a tool. Grok is a tool. Anthropic Claude is a tool. GPT is a tool. They're all tools. You just got to learn to use them. Back in the 90s, when the web was new, and I would go in to see clients, and they would say, what is a website, Steph? I would explain to them what a website is, and I'd get some gigs when I get other gigs. Anyway, my point is adopt the new. So learn the web, start working with the AIs, understand what Gemini could do for you, what GPT could do for you, what Claude could do for you, what Grok could do for you. Understand the tools. And also understand the languages. So, for example, with my fitness app, AI allows me to do things I could not do with code. And it's allowing me to do things that I could do with code, but it does it much faster. But on the other hand, there are still things that I need to know, the web stack and coding and onboarding and all this kind of stuff in architecture, databases, database theory. There's these things I still need to know to make this thing work with its ultimate vision. So yeah, AI is not a threat to developers. It's just a new tool set. Leverage it. Those who embrace the change are going to do fantastic. I'm old compared to you, probably. I'm ancient. I'm old enough to know that you should never use Ruby. And I'm embracing the change. You should too.